All right, today we're talking about persuasive essays, how to write them, and I've got an example of a title and an introduction to share with you. So how to write a persuasive essay? Well, in some ways a persuasive essay is very similar to just standard essays. They follow a formula. Some of us like to use the 5-paragraph formula, and that would include a title, and then your introduction, and then your body, which would be at least 3 paragraphs with 3 separate supporting reasons, and then a conclusion that kind of ties it all together. All right, we're going to start today by talking about titles. The title of your essay should be engaging for an audience. It should be something that catches their attention. I get a lot of titles that students write that say just my persuasive essay or sometimes just untitled. And titles should really be more than that. A title should grab attention, but it should also tell the reader exactly what the paper is going to be about. So if you look at that example, it says, "Are you wearing what I'm wearing? Why school uniforms do not promote self-expression or individuality." That's a good title. It sets the reader up to know exactly what the paper is going to be about, but it's also a little snarky at the beginning, so you get kind of this little bit of fun with what is to come in the persuasive paper. All right, next we're going to talk about the introduction and position sentence. The position sentence, I'll remind you, is also your thesis statement. Your introduction should be as engaging as your title, and it should include your position sentence. Personal experience is a good way to get somebody in. Quotes about things that relate to your paper are another good way to engage your reader. Statistics will pull readers in. Whatever you can think of that fits your writing style but also is engaging is going to help you write a really strong introduction. You do want to try to use general terminology though. If you get too caught up in jargon or statistic numbers, you're going to throw your reader off. So try to use general terms that interest a diverse audience in what you have to say. And so I've given you an example here, and I'm going to give you about a minute or two to read it. So you'll notice the bottom part of my introduction, I have highlighted words in different colors. Red is the beginning of my position sentence. That's my thesis that I'm formulating. Students in school should not have to wear school uniforms. And then you'll notice in that same sentence, I give you my 3 supporting reasons. 1, because it does not allow students to express themselves. 2, it does not prevent bullying. And 3, it does not allow for students to feel comfortable at school. Now, as a reader, you know from this introduction and this thesis statement or position sentence exactly what my paper is going to be about, so that my body, the next part of my paper, is already outlined in my introduction. All right, the body of your essay, your supporting reason. So in the last example, you saw as the writer, I outlined exactly what my body would be about. And so the body of your essay should consist of those supporting reasons for that position statement. And each supporting reason should have its own paragraph or its own paragraphs, depending on how long it takes you to flesh out that supporting reason. They should also be concise. You shouldn't start talking about one supporting reason and then go into another and then go back to that supporting reason. You start that supporting reason, you finish that thought, you transition to the next supporting reason, you finish that thought, and you transition to that third and final supporting reason, you finish that thought, and then you transition to the conclusion. So your paragraphs should contain that 3 to 5 sentences, and use as many as you need to really get across to the reader what your supporting reasons are and how they go back to your position statement and support you in your persuasive essay. All right, and the last thing we have is the conclusion. Your conclusion should summarize the position statement along with your supporting reasons. So your conclusion is going to feel a little redundant, like you're repeating yourself. And that's okay. That's what we want in academic writing. We want your conclusion to be the last thing that your reader remembers about your paper. So that's why we summarize everything that you've already said. Okay, that's the end of the presentation. If you will, please follow the directions to finish and complete the task that we have for school today.